Yes, throughout history, researchers, historians, scientists, and conspiracy theorists have said many things about the mysterious lost city. Okay, let's say such a place exists, and one day we actually find Shambhala. But what awaits us there? There is talk of a doorway to another dimension, somewhere unknown in the Himalayas, high up in the mountains. If you manage to find and pass through that door, you will be greeted by the unparalleled beauty of Shambhala, the city of kings. The holy translucent faces that suddenly appear in front of you, the fiery inscriptions on the walls of the city, the beams of light that cover the entire kingdom, and the huge, incredible, and magical structures make you forget where you are. The Hidden Kingdom has many more amazing features. For example, ancient Indian scriptures speak of flying chariots, stone horses powered by the wind, or stone airplanes. Some of the living lamas claim that these stone horses are flying vehicles made with very advanced technology. Tibetan religious texts describe in detail the physical structure of the secret city. The Shambhala consists of 8 regions, each surrounded by a ring of mountains. The region is therefore thought to resemble the bud of a lotus flower with 8 petals. In the center of the innermost ring is the capital city of Kalapa, where there are many buildings made of precious stones such as gold, diamonds, coral, and the king's palace. The capital is surrounded by mountains of ice that emit a crystalline beam of light. Shambhala's technology is believed to be extremely advanced. The palace has special so-called skylights, windows with lenses that function as high-powered telescopes for studying extraterrestrials. For centuries, the Shambhala people have used airplanes and vehicles that move through a network of underground tunnels. The inhabitants have acquired telepathic communication abilities, mediumship, the ability to move at great speeds, to shift into physical or astral form at will, and to disappear from sight. In fact, the book, The People's Almanac, which gives an interesting perspective on historical and cultural events, famous people, important information from popular culture, and many other topics, says, the Shambhala prophecies mention that each of the kings will rule the city for 100 years, making a total of 32 kings. As each king's reign comes to an end, conditions in the world will deteriorate further until the next king will save the world by leading a war against evil. What do you think about these claims? Tibetan monks say that mankind is not ready. According to the religious texts, the monks say that everything in the world is happening as written in the Shambhala prophecy. They say that every event that will happen is predetermined, but they do not give any information about what will happen. This is because they believe that human beings cannot cope with the information contained in Shambhala and that it is nobody's business. This is all that is known about the prophecy. The degradation of Buddhism in Tibet, the incredible amount of materialism, carelessness, wars, and turmoil in the 21st century. If true, most of the prophecies have come true. However, here is the reality. We know very little about the Shambhala prophecy. According to legends, this secret kingdom has its guardians. Shambhala is said to have a very strong barrier of protection from the outside world, beings with psychic powers that Tibetans call snow keepers or black men. A British major who was camping in the Himalayas in the early 1900s described an incident in his notes as follows. I saw a very tall man wearing light clothing and long blonde hair. As soon as he realized he had been seen, he ran down a steep slope and disappeared. The major said that after this strange incident, he told the Tibetans he was camping with about what he had seen, but they showed no sign of surprise. The Tibetan guides told the major that this man was one of the black men who guarded the sacred site of Shambhala. Where did these black men come from, you ask? There are other examples. French explorer and traveler Alexandre David Neil, originally an opera singer, but who spent 14 years in Tibet, where she became known as the first female guru of the East. Neil was also the first Westerner to enter the forbidden Tibetan city of Lhasa and the Potala, the palace of the Dalai Lama. After spending 14 years in this mystical land, Alexandra David Neil returned to France and published a book called Magic and Mystery in Tibet. Neil shared very interesting information about the region in her book. In one of his many trips to the Himalayas, Neil said that he saw a man moving at an unusual speed and described his extraordinary experience as follows. I clearly saw his face, which was extremely calm and indifferent to his surroundings. His eyes were wide open and staring fixedly at an invisible object above in space. The man was not running. It was as if he was lifting himself off the ground and leaping forward. He seemed to have incredible flexibility and jumped every time his feet touched the ground. There was always a pattern to his steps. In her book, Alexandra David Neil stated that everything the Tibetan Lamas told her was absolutely true. Neil is said to have known the location of Shambhala, but deliberately withheld this information because she was a member of the Theosophical Society founded by Madame Blavatsky. It seems that it was not only the Tibetan monks and the local righteous who withheld information about Shambhala. This is also the case with those who later learned these secrets. Then we ask, what kind of a reality did they face that they didn't share it with anyone after they reached the information they had been chasing for years? Don't you think it's very interesting?